Om Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Sai Shwaraya Vidmahe Satyadevaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you very much for this introduction. First of all, it is no one who's teaching and nobody who's learning. We are all together learning from Bhagwan. He is the one who's the doer, the inspirer, everything. So we are all learning together. We are all sharing this platform together. So Sai Ram to all of you present here today for this Sai Ke Sang session, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to relive some of the golden moments that I had with Bhagwan, and my most humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Sai. Well, to begin with, let me take you all to the late 60s when Bhagwan visited Mumbai on 20th of March 1967. This was when Bhagwan visited for overseeing the work of Dharmakshetra. So Bhagwan, when he came, my mother already knew of Bhagwan, and she was expecting, and her due date for the delivery was 21st March. So she wanted to go and have Bhagwan's darshan, and she requested my father to take her for darshan. And my father said, how is it possible? Tomorrow is the due date, and how can you go today? But she was very insistent, and finally father had to take her for Bhagwan's darshan. So then they went for Bhagwan's darshan, and as usual, the ladies on one side and the gents on the other side, they were sitting. And my father got worried. What if something happens? And people started coming and sitting. And all this was new for my father. He was standing right at the back watching everything, and he was very worried. He was wondering, what if she gets labor pain, and how will she come out of this crowd? And all the time he was worried, and he was just standing there. And Bhagwan came for darshan. He came for darshan, and he came straight to my father, who was standing right at the back, because he never knew anything about Bhagwan. So Bhagwan came to my father, and he materialized Vibhuti, saying that my father should not worry. So we are the natives of Kerala, and Bhagwan used to converse with us in Tamil. So Bhagwan told my father, Kavalapadade, means not to worry. And he materialized Vibhuti. My father was like, he didn't know what's happening. But then he kept that Vibhuti, then he took a currency note from his pocket, and he just kept the Vibhuti, wrapped it and kept it in his pocket. Then after that, he was wondering, how did this person come to know that I am worried? He had not told this to anyone. He was just standing there, and all the time worried. So he was wondering, how did this person know? So he thought, okay, if he is God, then let this be a girl, and let the delivery be without any problems. I have an elder brother, and during At the time when he was born, my mother had too many complications, and this was the prayer. So then the next day was Sri Ramanavami. So early in the morning, mother had her bath and she had the vibhuti, and evening they were blessed with a girl without any problems, and they were all happy. Since we are from Kerala, we have the matriarchy system. So a girl in a family is a must. That is an occasion for celebration in among the Keralites. So then, and Bhagwan blessed them with a girl, and that is how I was brought by Bhagwan to this world. So then Bhagwan, so father had prayed that if it will be a girl, then the name giving ceremony and the rice giving ceremony. The rice giving ceremony is a major ceremony in our, especially the South Indians. We have that rice giving ceremony where the first time the rice is fed to the child. So father had at that time prayed that if it is a girl, the rice giving ceremony and the naming will be done by Bhagwan. So now that I was born, father had to keep up to his promise, and but unfortunately he was not getting leave to take us to Parthi. So the things were like going on getting postponed, and I was not given rice even beyond my 6th month. Normally the rice giving ceremony happens before the 6th month of the baby, and this has not happened, and they were worried about this. But one fine day, suddenly they came to know that Bhagwan is visiting Mumbai, and he was coming just for a day to Indulal Shah uncle's residence at Khar, Mumbai. So that was a Thursday, and they decided to go early in the morning, and they took me there. And those days, since it was a private visit, very few people were there for darshan, and everybody was made to sit there, and Swami was giving Pada Namaskaram and Vibhuti to everyone assembled over there. And my mother was sitting with me on the lap, and when Bhagwan came to give her Pada Namaskar, she held me up. And then Bhagwan, she told Swami, Annaprashana is not done. So please give the rice giving ceremony. But she was so innocent that she didn't take any payasam or anything, Normally for the child, for giving this, if we pray to Bhagwan for rice giving ceremony, we make that payasam and take that kheer. But she didn't know all that. She just held me up, and then she said, Swami, rice giving ceremony. So Swami, what he did, he just kept these 2 fingers in my mouth, and then he left. And my mother didn't know what Bhagwan had done. So the lady sitting next to her told her that, see, there is something in the baby's mouth, just see what it is. And then my mother just tried to see what was inside my mouth. It was this long piece of sugar candy, mishri. It was a long piece. And then so that was considered to be as the rice giving ceremony, and thanks to my mother and her innocence that she didn't carry the kheer with her, and Bhagwan himself created the sweet and he put it in my mouth. And then my birthday, the first birthday got over, but still I didn't have a name because again my father, he couldn't take leave and take us to Parthi. So I was, it seems when I was small, my hair was like Bhagwan's, like curly hair, and also everybody used to call me Sai Baba. And then one fine day we could manage to go to Puttaparthi, and Swami those days used to most of the time call them for interview. So then when I was taken there, Bhagwan called them for interview, and Bhagwan asked my father the meaning of the word Sudha. So my father said honey. So Bhagwan said, no, it is Amrit. And then he said, call her Sai Sudha. So he asked my father, what do you want to name her? My father said, Swami, whatever you name her is fine with us. So then Bhagwan asked him about the meaning, and this is how I was named by Bhagwan. And then from there on, it was like for us, Bhagwan had already entered the family, and everything was Bhagwan. It seems those days, I don't actually remember all this because I was too small. And those days, every Thursday, we used to have bhajans at home. And I used to be very restless running around there at home during bhajans. So father used to scold me to, sit in one place during bhajans, not to create this over there. So next time when we went to Parthi, Bhagwan again called us for interview and told my father that she's too small to understand, don't scold her. So this actually shows the omnipresence of Bhagwan. See, every time we have an experience, it is not just an experience. There is always a learning behind an experience. So this was to show that though Bhagwan was in Parthi, he knew what was happening at home, and he was very much present at home. So he used to show this omnipresence. This is how he showed his omnipresence. And then as all the children in Sai family joined the Balvikas, I was also a part of the Balvikas, and whenever Bhagwan came to Mumbai, we had few opportunities to present some programs in front of Bhagwan. And then after completing my Balvikas in 1984, Bhagwan was kind enough to grant me a seat in Bhagwan's college at Anantapur campus. There, those days, we used to have very tough entrance test, followed by a panel of members from the institute interviewing us, asking us very difficult questions. And if we are through with all this, then the list used to go to Bhagwan, and he himself used to select the candidates, and that final list used to be put up on the notice board. So Bhagwan was kind enough to select a few of us, and there were girls who were studying there from 12th standard, 11th standard, 11th, 12th, and then even those girls had to write the entrance and go through the entrance interview also. And few of us joined for the degree. So then Anantapur life, 3 years were the golden days of my life. And there we had so many experiences. Whenever we used to go to Parthi, Bhagwan sometimes used to speak to us in a group interview. He used to call us in the mandir, bhajan mandir. And he used to correct us by saying, girls, you are laughing and talking so much in the hostel that here I can hear your laughter. You all laugh so loudly and you disturb me over here. He used to say that. And then he used to come to the hostel he used to come to the college also for the sports meet and for prize distribution. But sometimes, if he was like, if we didn't get a message that Bhagwan will be coming, we used to do bhajans the whole night. Whole night we used to sit and do bhajans. And then we used to get a message from Parthi saying that Bhagwan will be arriving. And this is the kindness Bhagwan shows to all of us who take his name and who take his refuge. Then that was the time in Anantapur, Bhagwan gave me that sadbuddhi to learn Vedam. Actually, nowadays, those children from institute children have got the self-reliance program where they can select any of the extracurricular activities like music or Vedam or band or Nadaswaram. They have many choices to take up the self-reliance. But in our days, we didn't have all that. But I don't know why. I think the credit goes to Balvikas, where we have started with this shlokas and Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagwan, put that interest in my head or mind. And then there was one of my seniors who was teaching Vedam. And early in the morning, our day starts in hostel as early as 5 o'clock. We have to get up and go for Suprabhatam, and after that we have Yogasana. And in the morning, after Yogasana, then we come to the hostel, we have our breakfast and bath and all that, and then we go to the college, and then we have a busy schedule. We don't have any time to relax or waste or think of anything else. And in the mornings, the day we don't have yogasanas, we have either vegetable cutting or puri rolling. So this also come in batches, the duty. And we used to make time, a few of us, just maybe 4-5 of us used to make time in between all this busy schedule early in the morning. And we used to go to our college terrace and we used to learn Vedam. There was only very few of us who knew Vedam. I mean, very few of us who learnt Vedam at that time. And only one girl knew all the very orthodox Brahmin girl. But she knew Vedam and she taught us Vedam. And in this tight schedule, early in the morning, we used to go and learn. And Bhagwan used to, whenever he visited hostel and college, we got the golden opportunity to chant Vedam in front of Bhagwan, because hardly anybody knew Vedam. So the same group used to chant every time Bhagwan came to the hostel. Then this is how, and then it was our 3 years were like very memorable. And the end of the 3 years, normally Bhagwan calls the outgoing batch for an interview. So then we prayed very hard. It was not at all easy, because sometimes he will miss the immediate senior batch. Bhagwan had not called them. So we were like all the more wanting and craving for this interview, and we prayed very hard. And then it was one fine day, Bhagwan called us and we all went. And we were 35 of us inside the interview room. And Bhagwan didn't allow the teachers to attend the interview. Only the students were there, the outgoing batch of UG and the PG students. So the girls. So we were all there, and Bhagwan spoke to us, he advised us about how we should behave once we go out as a daughter, as a sister, as a daughter-in-law, as a mother. He advised us like how a loving mother and father will advise. And then we had decided to take along with us and treasure one message, any one message from Bhagwan. For that, there was a paper given to Bhagwan with all our names written on one side. The other column was left blank, and we prayed to Bhagwan to write one message against each name, so that the idea was to, cut out those messages and give it to the girls so that we can treasure them with us forever. So when this was done, Bhagwan, for a long time, he looked at the list. He was staring at the list. He read maybe each and every name, and then he took it close to his heart and he said that I will keep your future in my hands. Initially, he said, I will write, but I will keep this with me. And then he said, I will keep your future in my hands. What a beautiful sentence. And Bhagwan's each word, each letter is Vedavakya. So till today, all of us feel Bhagwan's presence in our life, and whatever is happening, it is happening only with Bhagwan's will. And it is not that all of us who studied there, whose students are having an easy life, or it's not that we don't have any problems in life. All of us have got problems, but we can feel Bhagwan's presence with us, and he's the only one who takes us through. He gives us strength for going through all these problems. I'm sure this is the case not only with us students, it is with everybody who has come to Bhagwan's lotus feet. Everyone will have to share Sai Bhagavatam. It will be like, endless hours we can share our experiences with Bhagwan when it comes to Bhagwan taking us under his umbrella. This is the flag hoisting when Bhagwan used to come for our sports day to Anantapur campus. This is, we got an opportunity to put up a drama on 60th birthday at, this is the Hillview Stadium, the Shanti Vedika stage. And here Bhagwan, you can see Bhagwan sitting there to watch the program. He said that we should not be visible, our face and our body should not be visible. So our principal madam specially wrote this drama. It is an animal drama. Only there is one character, man's character. So it was like everybody saying that I am superior to one another. That was the theme of the drama. It was a beautiful drama, and Bhagwan used to come for the practice to Purna Chandra auditorium, and he used to speak to each one of us. We stayed back. We didn't come back for Diwali vacations. Those of us who were participating in the drama, we stayed there and we used to practice, and then we used to go to Parthi. So he used to give us blessings with prasadam and all. This is one photo when Bhagwan came to Anantapur and he was having lunch with us. So she is Jaima ma'am who's showing that finger. She's telling us, have your lunch quickly and go to the prayer hall. And prayer hall, we used to have a very close session with Swami. This is a sports meet day on 11th of Jan every year when we have a sports meet day. So in 1987, we were fortunate to be a part of this band. And we were given a few minutes for drum display. That is the second photograph where only the drummers were there, and we had this photograph is of the practice session. Here again, Swami used to come and speak to us. This is the band group again. And this is the hostel prayer hall. Immediately after lunch, we used to rush to the prayer hall and he used to speak to us. We used to be like a, bee on a flower. And this is our final year interview photograph. This is the final year interview photograph. He clicked a class photo with us. We used to be just 13 of us in one class, like BCom 13, BSc some 10, and that way. Total we were 30 of us plus the PGs. And the first photo shows the when Bhagwan came to the hostel, we were singing Swagatam song. And the next one is in the college auditorium. Before the program started, the prize distribution started, we were chanting Vedam. Then this is in Parthi, Purnachandra Auditorium, after the Veda chanting during the Messengers program, 25th December. And this is our convocation photograph, which we had in Purnachandra Auditorium. So this was our life in Anantapur. After that, I returned to Mumbai and then I did my PG and I started working. But meanwhile, then I got married. The marriage also, the proposal came up when my mother was doing seva in Parthi and there was a family friend, auntie, who brought the proposal, and my now husband was also doing duty over there, and they met, and Bhagwan somehow made this happen and we got married. And so before marriage, I had requested my husband to take me to Parthi the next day after marriage. Bhagwan was at that time in Vrindavan. So he said, first let's go to Shirdi and then we'll go to Parthi. So for us, right from the beginning, okay, we had Shirdi Baba's photograph. My father used to visit. Before he got married, my father used to be a very regular visitor to Shirdi. So, but for us, it is like my Swami, our Swami. So then I told my husband, please take me first to Parthi. So he said, we'll go first to Shirdi and then we'll go to see Swami. I said, fine. Then we went to Shirdi, and those days in Shirdi and in Vrindavan or Parthi, we were allowed to click photographs. So then in Shirdi, we clicked a few photographs, and then we went to Vrindavan. There again, when Bhagwan came for darshan, I used to click photographs, because I don't know whether others were allowed, but we were allowed to take the students were allowed to take the camera. So I clicked a few photographs, and then after that last 2 days, we just decided to go to Bangalore and Mysore. So we had been to all those places. We returned to Mumbai, and those days we had to develop the photographs. We had to give that to a studio and then develop the photographs, and we used to get the negatives and the photographs. So when we got the photographs, we were going through the photographs. Then there was only one particular photograph which had Shirdi Baba and Swami. So this was the only photograph where this Shirdi Baba and Swami is overlapping in this photograph. All other photographs, it was like only Shirdi or Bhagwan, or even our visit to Mysore and Bangalore, all that. So, so this was again a lesson, because we had a dialogue that first Shirdi, first Parthi. Bhagwan wanted to show that it's me, Shirdi and Parthi are one and the same. So this was the message. So we have preserved this photograph till today. And then December month has got many sweet memories because of the Christmas celebration And also we, the alumni of Anantpur campus, we used to celebrate our annual day on 25th of December every year. So then we were given many opportunities for chanting Vedam, and we had music group, and at the most we could only sing and chant Vedam, nothing else we were allowed to do. So we got many opportunities, and during one such year, Bhagwan made our children sit on one side and we were made to sit on the other side, and Bhagwan used to distribute saris to us and give the children Pad Namaskar and Vibhuti. So one such visit, when my daughter was sitting next to me, Bhagwan told her, Bada hoke college mein aao. So she was tiny little girl, but then she remembered this. So during her 10th standard, she decided that she wants to pursue her medicine. But at the same time, she remembered that Bhagwan has called her and told her to join his college. So she told us that she wants to study her 11th and 12th in Parthi primary school, which is actually a higher secondary school, but it is called as primary school, where girls education is there, CBSE board till 12th standard. So then we went for the entrance test, and she gave her entrance test. Actually, we had she studied her 10th standard in state board, and there the CBSE level was it is a vast jump from state to CBSE. We had borrowed some books, and she had studied right from the day her board exams got over. She didn't even take a single day break. From the time she wrote her board exams and she came home, she started preparing for the entrance test. Then she wrote her entrance test, and when she came out, she told me, Ma, I don't think we'll get admission. I'll get admission because I have not written anything. It was all very different from what I studied. There was nothing that I studied. So then we said, okay, let's leave it to Bhagwan. If Bhagwan wants you to be there, he will give admission. So we just left it at that. In the evening, when the names were put up on the notice board, her name was there. Then she went for the interview, and then she joined the 11th standard. After a few days, she saw the 10th standard girl studying. Then she went to her, she started seeing the book. And then she came to know that the syllabus had changed, and she had studied the old syllabus, and that is why she couldn't write anything. But only Bhagwan knows how she got admission over there. So this is what Bhagwan did. He sees only efforts. We don't have to bother about the results. This again is a lesson that we learn, that we should put in our efforts and not bother about the results. It is up to him to decide the results. Only the efforts should be from our side. So I'll first narrate about my second life, and then if there is time, I will go to other experiences. So one day what happened on, this was in 2009, 1st August 2009 was a Sunday, and my daughter was studying there in Parthi, and it was her birthday, it was her birthday on 2nd of August 2009. So my husband said that he will go to Parthi for a day. During birthdays, the children are allowed to spend their time with the parents that day. So he said that he'll go to Parthi and he'll be with her. It was 2nd of August 2009 was a Sunday. Her birthday was on a Sunday. So he went in the morning to Parthi, and he said he'll come back at night. He just went for a day. Meanwhile, I was then a part of the youth wing of Sri Satya Sai Seva Organizations, Mumbai. So I went to Dharmakshetra for the youth bhajan, and when I was singing a bhajan, two rose flowers fell from Bhagwan's photo. So then I came home. Then my husband came back at night. When he came, I told him that this is what happened, and I'm not a singer who, when I sing that Bhagwan is happy with my singing and the flower fell. So I said, see, Bhagwan has given some sign that something is going to happen, but he's there with us. So my husband said, why are you thinking negative like this? It is, see, two flowers fell. One, it is for your daughter because it is her birthday, and one because you sang. Simple. So I was not convinced. I said, no, something is going to happen. So, but Bhagwan is there with us. And then next day was Monday. That was the day when I think there was some, some teachers' strike was announced that day. And my son had not gone to the school, but later on from the newspaper, when the newspaper came, he used to leave at 6:30 in the morning to school. But later on, when the paper came at 7 o'clock, we came to know that the teachers' strike was cancelled. This happened in Mumbai. So then we thought, okay, let us do some cleaning. So my son and myself, we thought of cleaning our window nets. We have huge windows, French windows, and we have nets which are removable so that we can wash them under the tap and we can replace them. So we thought of removing the nets and cleaning. And then the windows are on all three sides, all the four sides. The windows had this marble fixed on even the top portion. Actually, the top portion, the marbles are not fixed, but the interior, who did our place, our house, he did that on. He fixed marble on top also. So what happened, as soon as we removed the net from the window, there was a loud bang. And I felt something on my head, and I just called out to Swami, Sai Ram, I called out to Swami. And we both didn't know what was happening. Both of us were just standing there on the windowsill and the net was there in my hand. Meanwhile, I realized when I saw that the top portion of the marble had come off and it hit my head, it fell on my head, then it hit on my shoulder, and my son was this, at that time he was of this height, then it fell on him, and then it fell down and broke into pieces. And marble is very heavy. And later on, then immediately I just called out to Swami, and looking at the broken marble, I was like, I didn't know what to do. Immediately I called up my husband and told him this is what happened. And then he said, immediately call up that interior designer and tell him about this. So then I did that, and when he came and saw, he was so surprised that we were alive, because he said that piece was so heavy. It is like the measurement will be almost like this will be like almost 6 feet by 2 feet. That is the measurement, and that is so you can imagine the weight of that marble. So then it was only Bhagwan who saved us. Meanwhile, on the next day, that is this happened on 3rd August 2009, and 3rd early morning, my daughter just got up from sleep very disturbed. This she told us later on when she called us up. On 3rd morning, she got a dream that in the hostel, wherever she is looking at Bhagwan's photo, the photo is not there, only the frame is there. Everywhere in the prayer hall, the corridor, everywhere, wherever Bhagwan's photo is kept, she can see only the frame. Bhagwan's photo is not there. She got very disturbed and she was thinking, what mistake did I make? What happened? Why is Bhagwan angry with me? And why is it that Bhagwan is not showing himself to me? So she was very, very disturbed that day, it seems. And then when she called up and when she said this, immediately my husband said, yeah, that was a sign to show you that he had come to our place to save your brother and mother. That was a sign given to you. So this is how Bhagwan, this is the power of Namasmarana. That is why Bhagwan has told us that, we have to always take his name, because we actually don't know what will happen, when the end will come. And in Bhagavata also it is mentioned very clearly, though we keep doing Namasmarana throughout our life, that end moment is very important. At that time, if we don't think about Bhagwan, then this life is useless. So, and this is the power of Namasmarana. We just called out to Bhagwan and he was there to save us. Otherwise, it was just not possible for anyone to survive that thing, it's such a heavy marble. So this was the second life given to my son and myself. And then this happened. Before this, on June 1st, my daughter joined 2009. She joined high secondary school, and after she joined, after 2-3 days, I came back. So there she was like, it was very little difficult for her to adjust, because right from the beginning she was like, she used to be always wanting her mama always with her. So then one evening, Muni auntie, the headmistress of primary school, she called me up. She said that, is there any problem with your daughter's leg? I said, no, there is no problem, because right from her first standard till her 10th standard, even before her board exam, we used to get the golden opportunity to present the Balvikas children and the youth of Mumbai and Maharashtra. We used to get an opportunity during Ashadi Ekadashi to present various cultural programs. So right from her first standard to 10th standard, she used to participate in classical dance in front of Bhagwan. So all these years she was dancing. So suddenly this, there's no problem. So I said, there's no problem, but what happened? Then she told me that her patella had got dislocated, and can you come to Parthi? I said, fine, I will come. And immediately I called up my husband. I said, this is, there was a call, and shall I go? He said, immediately you leave. I mean, tomorrow morning you leave. And I took the early morning flight and directly went to the school. So when I went there, madam was explaining what had happened. My daughter was in the physics lab, and the physics teacher was teaching something, and she could feel something odd on her knees. So their uniform is lehenga, white lehenga and half sari. So she slowly tried to feel like what is happening. And then she was so scared, she found that her kneecap had gone to a side. So actually even she didn't know what had happened. And she got scared. Slowly she pulled up her lehenga to see that, and she got very scared. She just sat there and she loudly started chanting Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And then from the next class, the biology teacher came, everybody started seeing what happened. And within a few minutes or seconds, in the presence of everyone, it just moved and came to its position on its own. And then she was taken, Muni auntie called for the doctors came and checked, and then she was taken to super speciality and the plaster was put up. So when I went, she was on the plaster. Later again I took her to super speciality, and the doctor said there's nothing. It is just her calf muscles have gone little this week. So she should do 15 days of physiotherapy at GH, General Hospital. So then I stayed back for 15 days. Every day I used to go take her to the GH and drop her back and then come back. So this is again a lesson, the importance of Namasmarana. And then after that, once when she came back to Mumbai, we were going to one of the very prestigious hall here, Shanmukhanand Hall. We were going for a program in local train. And then suddenly when she was boarding the train, again this happened. And in the train, it was very painful. It's very painful when it happens, the dislocation. So then there, she didn't know what to do. Then there were a few girls, the girls who were doing their MBBS. They were there in the train, and they literally, they shifted with their hand only. They shifted the knee cap to the right position. So this again shows that. Then after that, I was like asking many people whether it moves on its own. But the second time when it happened, the children who were there, the medicine students who were there in the train, they set it right. And this was again to show that first time Bhagwan had set it right. And this happened again, we came to know it is only to show that Bhagwan had set it right the first time because of the power of his Namasmarana. So it is like day in and day out, Bhagwan is there with us. It is only that we should be aware of it. Whatever is happening, we should not think that it is happening because we are great or because, we have done something good. It is only Bhagwan's will. Bhagwan can do anything, and there is nothing that he cannot do. We should always remember that. And once Bhagwan comes to our life, we know that Bhagwan is there with us for everything. But it is like, an authorized signatory for a check. So an authorized signatory has got the authorization to sign the check. But at the same time, he is responsible for signing the check. Tomorrow, if there's something wrong in the payment, he is caught. Similarly, we know that Bhagwan with us and he's the one doing all this, but we have to be always aware that he is watching us. That is the most important part. We should be aware that he is watching us, so that we only think, speak, and do what he likes and not what we like. And if we have a choice of selecting something that will take us, means if it looks, if it looks like a shortcut for something, or it is lucrative or something like that in monetary terms, we should always think whether if we do this, whether Bhagwan will like it or not. And that is how I think, I always feel that if we feel that Bhagwan is with us, saving us, taking us through all the problems all the time, that means he is watching us. So we have no right to hurt his feelings by thinking or speaking or doing anything wrong. Thank you once again, Sai Kesang, for giving me this opportunity to relive those precious moments. And thank you very much. Grateful to Bhagwan. Sai Ram.